Marvel fans, we have to talk about these insane rumors about Spider-Man 4. What even is this movie? We got multiple insiders teasing Ghost Rider. I heard Mephisto's in this movie, but how can that even be happening considering all the other rumors that we've heard about this shit? Oh my God. So let's get into it. Let's break this down. I'm going to put some speculation in here, but I did talk to some sources last week, man. I'm pretty confident that I know what's actually happening here, at least to some degree. So yesterday, Daniel RPK posted a GIF of Ghost Rider. You had people like Cryptic HD and Alex Perez kind of teasing that this was a thing. And then you had Jeff Snyder teasing big Spider-Man news in his newsletter tonight. And that's like a whole thing because Jeff got into a big fight with Deadline. And look, I don't want to get lost in the rabbit hole on this whole situation, but Jeff Snyder has incredible sources. He keeps breaking stuff that then the trades sort of steal as a scoop or an exclusive report. They seem to not want to give Jeff any credit at all. But the reason I'm even bringing that up is because Jeff was teasing big Spider-Man news. He ended up saying later he wasn't going to put anything in his newsletter, but he said Spider-Verse stuff is coming via Deadline tomorrow. So maybe it was just the Spider-Verse stuff in Deadline. Maybe it was this Ghost Rider stuff and Jeff got talked down by some of the people within the Hollywood trade ecosystem. But it's just crazy that we get all this Ghost Rider stuff. And then Jeff's like, oh, big Spider-Man news tonight on the newsletter. And then he ends up bailing on it. Okay, so you have all of those sources out there teasing some Ghost Rider stuff. Specifically, though, I want to mention a couple things Alex Perez teased. You had Alex Perez bring up the fact that the working title for the movie is Blue Oasis, but we're going to get a ton of red in the movie. He later revealed that the working title is Blue Oasis, but the production company for Spider-Man 4 is Blaze Films Incorporated, which is a company that the old Ghost Rider movie shot under. Like, that's production company that the old Ghost Rider movies use. And in response to even the first thing that I saw from Daniel RPK, I shared out what I heard from insiders last week. By the way, I heard this from somebody, then I talked to My Time to Shine Hello about this behind the scenes, and we are both convinced that both Mephisto and Ghost Rider are going to be in Spider-Man 4, and it's actually Ghost Rider played by Keanu Reeves. Yes! So excited that it's Keanu. Like, let's go. They finally locked Keanu up, and he's going to be Ghost Rider. Probably going to do some really cool stuff in the next couple of years. Maybe some Midnight Sun stuff. But how in the ever-loving does that tie in to Spider-Man 4 and all the crazy rumors that we've heard about Spider-Man 4? So let me like TLDR the whole rumor train for Spider-Man 4, because that just really gives you the context of why this new stuff is so crazy. Then I'll talk about how I think this is actually working here. So the rumors for Spider-Man 4 were long-standing to be adapting the Devil's Reign comic book. It was supposed to deal with the fact that Wilson Fisk becomes the mayor of New York. That's something that's going to be explored in Daredevil Born Again. But the original plan, according to the rumors, was for that story to roll out of Daredevil Born Again right into Spider-Man 4, where both Kingpin and Daredevil would play major roles in Peter Parker's fourth film. However, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we started to hear rumors that that was actually no longer going to be the case, and that Sony and Marvel were beefing about the future of the film. And for the record, I heard over a year ago that Toby and Andrew very likely to be in Spider-Man 4, especially Andrew Garfield. And thus began like a year of Daniel RPK updating us that Sony and Marvel were beefing, that the movie was going to become multiversal, that Marvel wanted it to be street level, but Sony wanted it to be multiversal. And then around the time of the first trailer of Venom: The Last Dance, rumors began swirling about Knull, the symbiote god. That was later confirmed to be an actual plot point in the Venom: The Last Dance film, but we know that's kind of a late addition to the game because Andy Serkis himself just admitted a couple of weeks ago that he was cast as Knull super last minute into the process, came in, just shot some ADR for it. And that's probably why a lot of the Knull scenes in Venom: The Last Dance feel super clanky and kind of weirdly placed in the movie, because the idea was to set Knull up, and at some point Sony's like, oh, we really got to do a lot more with Knull for this film, and then they did it with the last minute Andy Serkis stuff and shooting more scenes, etc. After all of that began happening, there were people like Cryptic HD that were saying they think Knull is going to be a villain in Spider-Man 4, and it was literally going to be called King in Black. Spider-Man 4, King in Black. By the way, Alex Perez is still saying that that's the direction that they're going to go in. But again, the obvious question from there is like, how did that turn into Mephisto and Ghost Rider? What the hell is happening? Well, I think this all has to do with Mephisto, who, by the way, has been rumored to be in the MCU for a long time. Like, I remember during the WandaVision days, you know, Paul from Every Spoilers, Eric Voss over at New Rockstars, they kind of got memed on because they were really looking into Mephisto a lot for that show. But I think what people tend to forget is that there were actual reliable rumors that Mephisto was a part of the plan for WandaVision, and that was building towards something with Mephisto, which eventually becomes real. I mean, Mephisto gets a name drop in the Agatha show, which is, of course, a spin-off of the WandaVision show. And it would appear that Mephisto has some role to play in the future for those characters and potentially the future for Wanda, which is rumored to tie into Doctor Doom because she's going to be Doctor Doom's girlfriend in the next 2 Secret Wars kind of movie things. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's focus on Mephisto. Mephisto is a very powerful being in Marvel Comics, and in a Spider-Man event in the comic books, Spider-Man actually makes a deal with Mephisto. This was after Aunt May was dying, and Peter basically sacrificed his life with Mary Jane and a version of reality in which he had married Mary Jane in order to keep Aunt May alive. This is a big famous retcon. It was crazy that Peter ended up doing this, but I think there's a clue there as for how Mephisto could be a part of the Spider-Man 4 film. There's currently a rumor that Doctor Doom's going to create a new version of the 616 in the Doomsday film, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man is likely going to just be in a new reality in Spider-Man 4, and potentially Peter makes a deal with Doctor Doom in Doomsday in order to get to this new reality, one in which he likely has his friends back, everybody remembers Peter Parker, and Aunt May is still alive. Well, I think the obvious connection here is that what if this deal that Peter does with Doctor Doom is facilitated by Mephisto?
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Now let's talk about Ghost Rider. Like, how could Ghost Rider be involved here? Well, the Ghost Rider lore has actually changed a lot in comics over the years, but essentially many versions of his origin are connected to Mephisto. So Mephisto is kind of like Satan or the devil in the Marvel Comics universe. And so therefore, technically the Riders are agents of Mephisto. Like, people do bad things, the devil kind of tempts them to do bad things, you know, Mephisto. And then if they do bad things, it's the spirit of vengeance that comes after them and ends up enacting judgment, so to speak. Ghost Rider is actually an agent of Mephisto. So what does that mean for the Spider-Man 4 film? Well, it kind of depends. You could see a scenario in which Doctor Doom recreates reality, gives Peter Parker the life that he deserves, but perhaps that actually brings judgment upon Peter because that's like a sinful, horrible thing to do. And perhaps Mephisto still exists in some way. Like, there are rumors that there was actually going to be a Council of Red, so a whole ass council of Mephisto variants from the multiverse. And if that is true, they could potentially be working for Doctor Doom, or they could potentially be working against Doctor Doom, which just kind of depend, right? Like, maybe they are down with Doom being the new god and them just being the devil, or maybe they don't like what Doctor Doom is actually doing in this whole situation. So perhaps they would be trying to co-opt Peter to turning against Doctor Doom. Because one of the early descriptions we have for Spider-Man 4 suggests that Peter Parker is going to team up with an unlikely ally. Now, many of us thought that would be Tom Hardy's Venom, and oh my God, I hope it's still Tom Hardy's Venom, because can you imagine Venom and Ghost Rider and Spider-Man all teaming up in Spider-Man 4? Holy. But it's also possible this unlikely ally is Keanu Reeves' Ghost Rider. And maybe they're just trying to get Doctor Doom's stuff to disappear so that things can go back to the way that they were, the way that Mephisto liked them. And interestingly enough, this could also explain Knull, because perhaps Knull, the symbiote god, is made something like the new devil of Doctor Doom's reality. And Mephisto might not like that either. Maybe Mephisto wants to fight against Knull, the symbiote god, who was put in the position that Mephisto once had by God Emperor Doctor Doom. That's just what I'm speculating based on like comic book knowledge and a lot of the other rumors that are out there. But dude, just in general, this is insane, dude. The rumors for Spider-Man 4 have been absolutely crazy. This Ghost Rider Mephisto thing, I am very sure that this is real. I don't know how it's going to manifest in the actual script or in the actual movie, but I've heard from a lot of people behind the scenes there's just too much smoke from the scoopers and the insiders. Mephisto and Keanu Reeves Ghost Rider, I think it's going to be confirmed soon. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.